What's going on, brother?
I'm blessed to be here.
So I want to jump right in to your story because I think that my listeners can learn a lot from your story, what you've been through. And when we talk about overcoming of trials and tribulations, that's really the life of a believer. And just living here on this planet, things are hard. And just tragedies happen all the time. And so for you, from what you've shared with me, you step outside your house. Then what happened?
Well, it was August 16th. I remember, that's a memory that always burning in my mind. You know what I mean? I think about it constantly because I couldn't be here no more, So after getting off work, I decided to go to the grocery store, I waited a while, but didn't notice the police was outside all day. You know what I mean? When I saw them, I'm just like, all right, I'm just staying in the house. I don't feel like being bothered with nobody. I got my license, but I don't got insurance. So it's like, let me sit in the house till I get this insurance cleared up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I stayed in the house. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's getting cleared. I got thinking about getting a ride because I'm like, I ain't gonna drive. You know what I mean? So walking out, I walked past the guy. You know what I mean?
So there's somebody standing outside.
Just standing out because it's an apartment complex. So, everybody, all the residents are there. So it's broad day. Like you think outside your home would be a safety zone. At least it's supposed to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, fast forward a little bit, I'm walking past him and don't say nothing. I don't say nothing to him. I don't get an eerie feeling or nothing. Like I'm just all of a sudden, like my back is turned and shots just explode. Like,
so you walk past him,
and I made it up to the parking lot,
and you start to hear shots.
Shots immediately. Like as soon as I get close to the car. Well, I wish I had a map of how the apartment complex, but the parking lot is in front of the apartment complex. It's like a big space. There's no playground for kids, so they play in the parking lot. So my thing, I'm hearing all these shots and these kids outside. I'm like, oh man, I hope someone ain't shooting around while these kids is going out here.
So your first thought is the kids. Shots are firing, you seeing kids around.
Yeah, because if you know the apartment complex, Ravenwoods, like there's nowhere for the kids to play.
Gotcha.
Like they in the parking lot, that's where they safe haven is. So when I hear the shots, I'm immediately thinking like, what fool would think to do this? I'm not realizing this was meant for me. So I'm still puzzled, looking around, trying to make sure ain't nothing going on, and I'm not realizing this guy's running up to me. So in the midst of me turning, like we meet eye to eye, and that's when the first shot hit me in the neck. So once the first shot hit me in the neck, it went out through my mouth. Like the next shot kind of was a numbing, but then the one through the mouth was excruciating pain immediately.
So you got shot in the neck.
Yeah, and it traveled up.
Oh.
It traveled up, yeah.
And out of your mouth.
Out of my mouth. So when that bullet came out, I instantly fall on the ground. I was just thinking like, I just hope this ain't the last, I just hope it ain't. That's all you can think at the time like that is like, how can I get out of this situation? I'm bleeding, and I just remember closing my eyes and just asking, God, like, what's next after this?
So you get shot once?
I got shot once in an exit wound. So
it's 2 wounds.
Yeah.
From one shot.
Yeah. But that's not it. So
what happened next?
In the midst of me on the ground and thinking, I look up and the guy's standing over me. And I kind of just like black out. I don't know what happened. I cannot recall. I'm not about to sit up here and make a story, some Superman story. I don't know what happened. All I know is the guy ended up on the ground and I ended up standing over him. I don't
really.
I'm honest. I don't know how he felt. I don't know how I feel. I remember getting the shot and hitting the ground. And
did you have a weapon?
No.
Do you have some martial arts training?
Nah, I'm just a regular dude, man. I'm just a regular dude.
So you're not John Wick?
Nah, I ain't John Wick.
You're not Jason Bourne?
No super agent, none of that. It just was like,
you get shot, you fall to the ground, he's standing over you, and the next thing when you come to yourself,
I'm up.
You're up. He's on the ground.
And it's like he was trying to shoot while I was on the ground. So when I like blinked, I'm thinking he shot me. That was in my mind, but it didn't. It's like when I opened my eyes, I was up enough to run. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, I should try to strike, but then I'm thinking like, oh, I'm bleeding. Like, you got to get out of there.
Yeah, you have fight or flight mode. Right?
That was it. It's nothing to be tough in them situations. A human is left with two choices: fight or flight. In my case, I tried to fight, but flight was the smartest thing.
And you saying you don't even remember if you fought? No, he just on the ground somehow.
I don't remember.
Was he on his back? Was he on his stomach?
He was kind of like on his back a little bit, but getting up, ready to shoot again.
And
so
as
he was
saw
getting
in his
up,
hand still.
Yeah, as he was getting up, he continued to shoot.
Wow.
So I'm running the hallway. I remember.
You took off.
I took off. So I run to the steps, and this is where I get shot again. So as I'm running to the steps,
you trying to get back into your apartment?
Yeah, I'm trying to get back home because that's the only where I'm bleeding. You know what I mean? I don't know the extent of the bleeding. I just know my mouth is sore, it's open, and all the neighbors didn't went in the house, so ain't nobody calling 911 for me or nothing, which I don't blame them, because in a situation like that, you don't know if the guy is still running after this person. So, I cannot fault none of them for that, you know what I mean? But in the midst of running to the steps, he let off like 2 more shots. I recall getting hit with like both, but they skint off my back because the way the first one hit me, it kind of knocked me forward a little bit, so it made me miss the second shot a little. So I got like a big scar across my back as well. So in the midst of all that, I run into, my girlfriend, she came in and she saw me bleeding.
Your girlfriend was home?
Yeah, she was home. My son was home too.
Your girlfriend and your son was home, and she heard the shots.
So she come running out and see me running and bleeding, and thank God that she was quick on her feet, because everything was going wrong. When I tell you, everything was going wrong. First and foremost, me falling on my phone. When I fell, like my phone is completely shattered. Like I can't use it. So she's trying to call 911. Her phone isn't like, our service in the building is kind of like garbage.
So you broke your phone, you got poor service with her phone, you bleeding, you needing to get to the hospital soon, and you ain't actually really sure if the perpetrator is...
I don't know what's going on. I just know I'm not even worried about him at this time. It's like right now, I gotta make sure that I stay alive, and I don't know, in my mind, I just didn't want to die like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
right. Because you got a son.
Yeah.
How old was your son at that time?
Oh, he's 2. He was 2. He's still, this is quite fresh. It's only like 6 months ago.
So 6 months ago is when this happened.
Yeah.
So let's go back when just a few moments prior to you being helped by your girlfriend. You have this moment, you say you remember connecting with, or either turning your heart toward God and saying, Lord, let me live, let me survive this.
Yeah, basically.
You know, because this is how we do. Y'all know how y'all do. Lord, if you let me survive this, I'll never do it again.
Yeah, right? This one of those times I didn't even have to put the never again. It was just like, listen, I'm just...
So you just reached out. So tell me about your faith and what was built in you prior to that to make you connect with God at that moment. And is faith in God something that you had practiced?
Oh, yes. Coming up, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my grandmother's plural, you know what I mean? They taught me the Bible, you know what I mean? I was a grandma's baby.
And you was in church.
So,
because grandma was in church.
yeah, grandma gonna make you go to Sunday school. You think you're getting out of it, you going to Sunday school.
Yeah.
Until we got a little older, and she was like, let us find God our own way. She didn't force him on us as we got older because she wanted us to connect with God in our own way. But she always stayed on, you need to get in somebody's church.
Was this red and white peppermint grandma in her purse give you the peppermint candy,
and
or was this butterscotch candy?
Both. She had a
grandma?
little both. No lie.
Right.
My rest her soul, my great grandmother is amazing. My grandmother right now is amazing. She picked up the same way, like it's church every Sunday. They didn't play that. Like,
So they kept you in church.
oh yeah, they taught you how to be respectful. Like, you know what I mean? My grandparents taught me a lot, you know what I mean, just with dealing with faith, like made sure that we learn how to pray. You know, that was something that I learned young, you know what I mean, before I can even read. Grandma, she made sure she taught us how to pray, because I went to my grandmother's house at like 5, you know what I mean, so it was...
You say your grandma pretty much raised you then?
Yeah, but my father was there too. It's just my dad. I come from a big family. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm the oldest out of 9 siblings. My dad got 7 of them.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it was easier for at that time because my dad was a hard-working man. God rest his soul. I just lost him last year too. But he was always a hard-working man, and he had faith too.
Was he in church too as well? He was a believer?
He was a believer too, but Pops was more or less not the traditional going, but he had his own personal connection with God.
Gotcha. So he wasn't in church every morning with grandma every Sunday morning, but he wasn't getting no butterscotch from grandma.
Best believe him and grandma, they clashed about that, but she loved him to death. But she stayed on everybody, like, get in that church, because she knew that's the only person that can save you, to be real. Nothing in this world can save you but the Creator.
So in that moment, you see in your life on the line, you connect with God. Somehow, something happened, and you still have no idea what happened. He's on the ground, you up and you run, and your girlfriend's coming to your aid. Mm-hmm. What happened next?
Like I said, as soon as I get in, I'm immediately trying to find towels, because I noticed that I'm not just bleeding from my mouth. Like, my neck is bleeding as well, but now it's getting harder to breathe. So I'm like, you gotta call 911. Like I said, the service was bad, my phone is shattered, so we're not getting through. So it got to the point where it's like, you know what? I give up. I just took the towel, wrapped around my neck, and I'm like, you know what? I just lost my dad. I'm going through all this and that. I'm done.
How long before this event where you're getting shot that you lost your dad?
Ooh, that was, let's see, he only been gone about a year or so.
Wow. So
it's still kind of fresh.
Yes, that's kind of fresh. Experts say it takes about 18 months to get over the loss of a loved one, on average.
Yeah, but I don't think experts understand when somebody been here your whole life. You know?
Wow. So you lost your dad a year prior, now you're being shot, and you feel your life coming to an end. What did you mean when you say you wrapped the towel around your neck? Were you trying to stop the bleeding, or were you doing something else?
Well, kind of, yeah. At first, that was the only thing I could do. You know, logically, it's like, you know, at least stop one of these. You know what I mean? But at that time, my lungs collapsed. My right lung collapsed. So then once the lungs collapse and the blood started, like, I'm choking up blood, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe my death was supposed to be something for something else. Maybe I'm not supposed to be here. That's how I'm thinking now. So it's like, I just laid down and I kept closing my eyes and I was just ready to quit. But my girlfriend stayed strong through that whole thing and was like yelling my name. You gotta get up, you gotta get up. She kept calling, she finally got through. By this time, I'm completely out of it.
You probably had lost a lot of blood by then.
Oh yeah, I did. I remember hearing crawl in the hallway if you want to live. Now I don't know what procedure that the paramedics do when they do that to you.
You saying someone said that?
Oh, it was the paramedics.
Crawl into the hallway if you want to live.
Yeah. because I guess they've been screaming my name for so long. Because I died in the kitchen. So, like I said, I thought it was over, and I kept hearing voices, and I just felt like I was climbing towards the voices, And behold, I hear crawl in the hallway if you want to live. I'm not thinking about just crawling in the hallway. I'm like, well, I couldn't die, so let's try to live again. Dying didn't work, so let's live. Immediately, they put me into they got me on the stretcher, got me out. Everybody in the hallway now, it was empty at first. Now everybody in the hallway, kind of just looking to see what's going on and stuff like that. They put me in the ambulance, and when I tell you, I was awoke for everything that I experienced, like every bit of pain I can remember. So, a process I've seen, like when you're dying, like they use this bone and IV type of thing, and I mean it's worse than being shot.
The pain inserting the IV
in my leg, because they had to get it in my bone.
Oh, into the bone.
Yes, they had to do this while I was woke. And the needle, I mean, no exaggeration, was the longest needle I've seen. And it wasn't no small, like, needle. This was a needle. Like,
inserts into the bone?
Yes, I don't know what kind of IV it is, but I seen my father have that same IV in the hospital, because when my father passed, I was in the hospital when he passed away. So I immediately noticed that same IV that I'm getting in my leg that my father got. I'm like, oh, this can't be good. And I'm screaming, but they like, look, it's either this or you gonna die. Like, you gonna have to take the pain.
Are they trying to hold you down?
No, because that moment I had to see how tough I was.
Right.
And I never want to be put in that tough man competition again, you understand?
No,
that was, I don't know how to explain that pain, man. I still feel that to this day. Like rains, like it's cold weather, or just getting sore, like I still feel those phantom pains. It was crazy.
So this is where we want to make sure to take just sort of a pause here, because I just like for people to know that the reason that the gospel is so powerful for us, number one, because it's a free gift, but number two, faith in the gospel of Jesus Christ lets you have something to believe in, that this life is not it, that there's something else on the other side. Now, most people just naturally, we all are afraid of death.
Yeah.
But it's more about the means. Like, I don't want to die this way, or I don't want to die that way, right? You have these fears, you see stuff, especially nowadays, you can get online,
it's
Twitter
crazy.
X, and you can just see all this stuff happen in real life where people just lost their lives.
Yeah.
This is why I preach the gospel the way I do, because you never know when it's your time. This brother here walking out his door, wasn't expecting nothing, didn't know somebody was out there with a gun ready to fire to take him out, and even kids was around. That's called not giving a fudge about nothing. And you never know when your time is coming. That's why the scripture says, confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved. Not saved from dying, but saved from the next death. This is a natural death we're talking about, but there's a spiritual death that's coming after judgment, and those are the things that we take in mind when we decide whether or not we want to choose Jesus. So here you are on this hospital gurney inside an ambulance. You're going through all of these preparations, and they're trying to save your life. The pain is there. What's going through your mind at that point?
Well, after feeling all the pain, I was just feeling pain. It was like a calm feeling around me too, and that's how I know it's my guardian angel, because a lot of that stuff, like thinking back to a lot of it, it's amazing, because I'm on the hospital bed and I'm alive. I'm woke when they put the ventilating tube in my throat. Like, Yeah.
So you got a trach where they cut your throat open?
No, they just.
Oh, they put it down your throat.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And you awake for
Yeah, I
that.
was woke. You know what I mean?
That
But
can't be
initially made
comfortable.
me pass out though, because to me it was like the time lapse is so funny when you're in a coma, because I end up slipping into a coma. They had to put me in what they call a medically
Drug-induced coma?
Yeah.
They're in the ambulance?
No, once I got to the hospital.
At the hospital, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just kept me stable while I was in the ambulance, but like I was so, adrenaline was pumping so much that I was still woke for all the stuff, you know what I mean? But I guess once all the pain of going through that IV shot and then the ventilation tube, it got to a point where I'm out. I can't recall how many days I was out, but I know I was in ICU for almost a week and a half. Then I had to go upstairs for a week. It was crazy, but I do remember once I did, like, finally wake up, I see everybody around me. I had some, like, wonderful supporters, man. My brothers, my mother, my stepmother, who's my second mom, you know what I mean? I don't even like saying step, that's my second mom, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
She held it down. So many people, man. We'd be all day. Like, the hospital was packed, and I appreciate every one of those people that came through. Like, y'all know who y'all are, man. I love y'all, and I thank y'all for that, because without them, like, having that spirit, like, man, you a fighter. Like, you've been through some things in your life, bro. Don't let this take you out. You know what I mean?
See, I love this because what you're speaking to is people being there for each other. And that's why what we talk about on our platform, Powerful Living, saying you're a believer in Jesus Christ is about being something, doing something. This faith is about action. Because even Jesus says, listen, when I was in prison, you didn't come to visit me. When I was hungry, you didn't give me anything to eat. I was naked and you didn't give me any clothing. He says, these are the things many of us say, hey, when I was in the hospital, you didn't come visit me, right? So these are the things that he's saying, you people who say you were mine, these are things that you should have been doing, but didn't do. And you can hear now from my man Mays about how much this means to people when they're in their worst possible state and people show up. That's powerful living. So you don't know how long, so you showing me about 17 days now, at least of hospital time.
Could be longer, like I said.
Yeah.
When you're going through trauma, it's like kind of your mind want to try to forget it as much as possible. Like, that's why they got things like called PTSD. Like, you try to forget it, but it's like it's like stitched in your brain. You know what I mean? It's an ongoing trauma, and you constantly thinking it's danger. You know? Like, it heightens your senses. But okay, why I do know why I'm in the hospital. They figuring out, like, you know, I got the ventilation tube. I'm up top. I'm trying to talk while I got the tube. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
But I was able to make sounds out. It was tough, but I was able to talk to certain people. But then I was writing stuff on the pad as well. Like, I was up and conscious.
You just trying to communicate with the people
Yeah,
that's there visiting?
Just let them know, everybody who came through supported me. I wanted to thank them and tell them, like, I'm all right. Like, try to just let them know, like, they can't take me out like this. Like, even though at one point in time I didn't believe that. I thought that was gonna go. But that faith, when I just woke back up, just like, okay, I got a reason to be here. Like,
what was your reason? What was your why? Why did you want to live? Why were you more determined then?
My family. I feel like especially my dad leaving, like, my dad was a glue to the family. Like, man, it can't be, you can call him for anything. My dad was there. Like,
wow.
I got and in the black community, we know that's rare. Like,
73%.
Man,
74% really no father I'm one of those.
You know what I mean?
I wish I could say what you just said about your dad. I wish I could say that about my dad.
So, and it was like thinking like, if he go, I mean, if I go and then he already gone, like, who's left to build up everything? Not saying that my family wouldn't step up, but I just feel like as the son of the glue, it's my duty to live in the light that my father lived.
Because you're the oldest.
Yeah, the oldest boy.
And are there any boys? Other
Yeah.
boys? Okay, but you're the oldest boy.
I'm the oldest boy,
So you
and I'm
feel
named
like,
exactly after him.
I
Look
see.
just like him.
So you feel like the mantle is being passed on to you when your dad passed.
Yeah, it is, but he want me to do it my way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, he always told me, like, don't do what I do, be better than me. You know what I mean? And I fell into some wrong footsteps, you know what I mean? But when it came to this incident, I was working 2 jobs, wasn't even in the streets. So I tried to do something different.
You was trying to do right.
I tried.
You had 2 jobs. You had a son, and you said this was your girlfriend, so y'all weren't married. But how long had y'all been together?
Oh, that's my best friend. We've been knowing each other for a while.
And she gave you a child. Y'all been together 2. So you got a lot of good reasons to be trying to turn things around.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here in the hospital bed, determined, you're thinking about your dad and what's next. How long did it take you to get up and out of the hospital and on your road to recovery?
Okay, so after it's like initial, let's say like 17 to 21 days, in the midst of that, my jaw was supposed to be broken. It was, but it put itself back together. Like, I can't explain it. Like, if you look at me, you can't tell I got shot in the face. Like, you can't tell it came out my face and I had a hole in my face. So you don't even know where the scar is at. No.
Right. So usually if you break your jaw, they have to reset it, usually put wire, your jaw
I had no
shut.
wires.
None of that.
No.
You feel like that was divine intervention?
I know it was. Couldn't nobody pay me different. Couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, I walked myself to my x-ray from being in a coma to an ICU. From ICU, I walked. They helped me, but they were amazed that I got up and had the strength to use my legs. Where I could have got shot at, I could have got paralyzed. My jaw could have came off because where it went at, that they was telling me the artery could have got it could have been a lot of stuff.
I mean, you're talking about the neck too, so there is kind of an important artery that runs along your neck too, so I guess by the grace of God, obviously, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't severed.
It's got a hole in it though.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't completely
You have a hole in the artery in your jugular, and
like
it didn't
something
bleed
over.
out.
No, it didn't.
Wow.
It's just, I don't know, the whole got a weird shape to where it doesn't bleed out. It's like it created a pocket instead of a hole.
Wow.
Like all the signs was telling me that's God, man. I couldn't eat at first. I had to be put on a feeding tube, which they had to do that while I was woke. And the pain that you have to go through of having a wire that, I don't know the diameters and feet, so don't let me get the line in. But this was a wire that go from your nose to the pit of your stomach to where it can feed you.
Right.
Yes, and they had to do that while I was woke.
Wow.
And they explained it, so it's just a little simple process.
I love that. I love that. See, this is what I hate people when they do that. Because the first, it's just. Anytime somebody put just in a sentence, that's an attempt to minimize something. It's only.
So look, I was thinking the same thing too, but I'm so sick because I'm not eating. My throat, I have no access to. I can't even swallow my spit. I gotta constantly. They gotta keep me on fluids because I can't drink, I can't eat. I'm sick. I'm throwing up because they got me on whatever medicine they got me on, and then from drug-induced comas, coming off of all that stuff. So they do that, and I'm so miserable of not being able to eat, and I'm sick because I know I need to have something that can help me. So they give me this fiber source stuff. So once they get done with that, and I mean, I looked it bad, drool everywhere. It was a nightmare. You know what I mean? It was terrible. Like, but
not many people look good in the hospital.
No, but I'm saying that was terrible. But I can honestly say, man, my older cousin Rose stood by me that whole process when they was doing that, like wipe my mouth off. Then, you know what I mean? Like my mama was there, you know what I'm saying? It was.
You had some support, bro.
Man, it was amazing. But what's so crazy, as many people as I helped, or many people that's supposed to be my friends and so-called family members, a lot of people didn't show up either. But a lot did. The ones that mattered showed up.
The ones that mattered showed up.
And it helped me to realize, like, you just can't be mad because everybody don't take situations the same. Like, you might love a person, but they might like, I just like what you do for me, or love what you do for me. If you can't do nothing for me no more, I don't bother with you. And that's how I was feeling, you know, because not being able to work no more, you know what I'm saying? So let's go back a little bit. The feeding tube is in, and I'm being fed around the clock on this tube. So it's terrible. Like it's just terrible. So they take out the ventilating. They take out the tube. Well, they had to take the tube out to get that in there. So at that time, they got to go back in and take out the. They had another tube in my side where my lungs collapsed. Oh yeah, I've been cut open. Yeah, I was woke for that too. He's cut. I got a side cut right on my side where I was woke. He was like, "Look, we gotta do this. We gotta do this." So
they can't give you any anesthesia, or
I don't know if they could have or they didn't. They didn't. I know I felt all of it.
Wow.
It felt like so like. Oh man,
it felt like somebody cutting your side open.
Yeah, but when they
with a scalpel.
Yeah, but when they put the tube against your lungs and try to push it up where it already been collapsed, that was so uncomfortable. It was just like it got to the point where I started becoming numb to feelings. So when they took it out, it didn't even bother me. It was terrible, but. Let's move forward a little bit. Me going home, I was supposed to be sent home with a feeding tube. Well, I guess they didn't have one at the home health care. It's important when you got a job, get good insurance. Because if you got bull insurance, you're going to get bull health. Anyway, health care, I should say.
Yeah.
They ran out of feeding tubes. So now I got to get done where it's like injections. So I got this tube thing in my nose where it got 2 ports. So I gotta, oh man, it was terrible. So we gotta feed this nasty fiber source stuff. Like it's terrible.
Tastes terrible.
Yeah, and you can taste it trickling down from my nose down to it's just horrible. Like, and my sister and my mama, once again, they was amazing angels because they got on it. Like, and I come from a family of women that know about the medical field. My grandmother's a registered nurse. I got an aunt that's a registered nurse. My mom used to be an LPN. You know, my cousins was LPN that came and checked on me. It was, I can't say this, I was just thankful for them. But, you know, so they feed me, and every night at 4 a.m. I'm getting sick. So I had to go back to the hospital. I go back to the hospital thinking like, oh man, so I'm back in the hospital, I'm backsliding. Little do you know, I went back and they said, man, let's see if we can take you off this. You sure?
Take you off of what?
The feeding tube. When I went.
So you had the feeding tube and you weren't getting better.
No.
And you go to the hospital and they thinking, we're gonna take the feeding tube out.
Well, they kind of monitoring and they did some x-rays and they started seeing that like water is starting to pass through to where I can drink water now. It's like not bothering me, but I still got these nerve sensations. So I get the feeding tube out. I take this test where they see if you can swallow things. I failed it. I failed it twice. So I'm discouraged. Like, oh man, it's gonna be a while. Like, then I'm thinking about how I'm gonna be able to talk. But in all the midst of these worries, slowly God start unraveling. Like, oh, you worried about that? Don't worry about that. So the moment I failed the second test, so I had to stay for a little while longer. Third test coming around, my throat is healed, where I can swallow and eat.
What kind of time is passing that we're talking about?
Week.
A week?
A week.
Wow.
In the midst of this, it was like, in the midst of those 21 days, like my body was like building up, like getting better. Like I'm walking around. I was doing things that they was right. They was like, we never seen nobody healed this fast off the gunshot wound in the area that you got hit.
Okay.
But I think that was just God, because I didn't feel that strong, man. Personally, like I still don't. I still have my days where it's hard to get up, or it's hard to breathe. Like it's a lot of stuff, that internal stuff that's still going on. It may not look like that, you know what I mean? But
are you able to eat normally now?
Yeah. I still have problems where my jaw is a problem, especially the nerves, because all the nerves got kind of fried and stuff like that. So too bitter, too cold, too hot, anything is gonna get a sharp pain for a second. So I had to learn how to deal with pain. You know what I mean? And that's just that fighting spirit. It's like, no matter what's going on, you gotta fight through it. That's where your faith come in at. Like, it's about what you fight for. You gonna fight for the positive, or you gonna just keep worried about all this happening to you and be a victim the whole situation? Okay, it happened, but what you gonna do from here?
So you've been on the path to recovery, and you obviously still having some struggles.
Yeah.
And you're talking about your faith still. What have you been doing since this occurred to strengthen yourself and build yourself up as far as your faith?
Having more and more personal time with the Most High, like making the time for it, but not just asking for things to be fixed. You know what I mean? Kind of just becoming that relationship, making it to where it's like I'm not a stranger, because I felt like I only want to pray when something going wrong, like most people.
Okay.
See, I'm just gonna be honest with it. A lot of us forget to pray until it go bad. Then we want to pray like we've been praying our whole life. No.
Yeah, that's called being a 911 Christian.
You know what I mean?
Your faith shows up when you need Him the most in an emergency situation. Then it's, oh my God, if you let me survive this, I'll never do it again.
Yeah. So it was just
you didn't want to be a 911 Christian.
No. And even though I'm not Christian, but I have come from a Christian background. Yeah. I'm more into spirituality, but I do believe in the Most High, and I do believe the Bible fully.
Yeah.
I've seen some things to where I don't want to be put in the label where I don't like this person because of his religious preference. When I feel like God's word is God's word.
Okay.
And you can't tell me this person is damned for damnation and he's a monk and he don't even curse.
Gotcha.
You can't tell me that.
So you got some conflicts, some questions, some struggles with
I do.
The faith.
Just a little thing. Just when it comes to saying, like, putting a bad label on people, like those are sinners. We all come from sinners.
And how do you reconcile that? How's this person who seemed to be doing good things, but you're telling me that person is going to hell according to the scriptures, and is just as evil as this other sin? And so we have these questions come through often on the platform. And when we have our empowerment sessions on Sunday, we open up a time for people to just throw it at me. Whatever questions you got. And I try to provide as many answers as I can. But one of the things that I try to do is I try to always tell people, listen, we gotta let red words win. Forget my opinion, forget yours. If we wanna know God, like what you're describing after your time of recovery begins, you're like, I'm gonna get closer to the Savior, I wanna know God, I feel like this is a time to turn some things around in my life. So if we wanna know God, then we get to know him through his word, because you said you believe that the word of God is solid.
It's solid, yeah.
So therefore, it's incumbent upon us to get to the point where we start to believe if God said it, that settles it. No matter whether it make me mad or make somebody else mad, because I got my thoughts. I got some people in my family who are homosexual. This is my family. I love my family.
For sure.
So if you want to ask me if I love my family, of course, that's my first cousin. What are you talking about? That's my cousin. I love him. And this is what the scriptures say. What do you mean? There ain't no choice, because you're not asking me something. You're not asking me if I think my cousin is going here or going there. It ain't about what I think. This is what the word of God says. Doesn't mean I love somebody less, because as a preacher of the gospel, a teacher, it's my job to say what the scriptures say. And I stand behind God's authority. And you can kill the messenger if you want to, but the word of God is still alive. And so those are the battles, and it's okay to battle, y'all. It's okay to struggle. And that's what I want more and more people to understand. If you got questions, that's great. Get the answers. That's all I ask. Get the answers. Come to me. Come to somebody else who's been in this thing for a minute and can share with you and break it down and show you what God says. Forget all the other opinions. So let's go back, because you said that before you walked out of your apartment and were shot, you said that there was a way of living that had changed, and you were trying to do some things better. Who were you before?
Well, same person I've been. I spent time in prison, you know.
So you went to the big house?
Yeah, I did. I'm not proud of that.
So we're not talking about DJJ with the kids. We're talking about you went to the big house.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
How long did you do?
I got served 10 years.
You served 10 years in
but
prison?
85%. Well, I did 9 of it because they robbed me for a couple.
How old were you when you went in prison?
Man, my memory's bad, but in my 20s. So I didn't get home till I was like 34.
Wow.
Yeah.
10 years in the big house, give or take.
Give or take.
Right. You went
Yeah. All flat time though. I didn't get out. You had to get in there and do the time, then come home.
And then you come home.
Yeah.
Walk me through that first day of lockup.
Oh man, it was different because the first thing you got to tell yourself is you ain't a victim, like, and you got to tell yourself you got to remain you, because people get in there and get lost.
So were you feeling sorry for yourself?
No, I was upset at myself.
You were mad at yourself for what you had done that got you locked up.
Yeah, because I knew better. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't call home complaining and crying. That's what my dad, he always respected about me. He was like, you might have done something dumb. He said, but you never cried about it. You stood on your 10, you did your time. You try and come home and change. And he got to see that for at least a year and a half before he passed.
You want to tell us what you did?
Yeah, just robbery first. Banks, stuff like
Bank
that.
robbery?
Yeah.
Y'all heard the story about the dude robbed a bank. Why you keep robbing them banks? He said, because that's where the money is. So you now we talking, we talking, what was it, Ocean's 11? We talking big time bank robbery?
It was kind of like the old
pull the revolver at the desk, give me the money, slip the note up under there?
Yeah, one of those. No notes. That's what, if I'd have went with a note, I probably would have got less time. Goodness gracious.
So the last one you got caught, you pulling out the firearm. You say, give me the money. And how'd you get caught?
You ain't gonna believe this. Jehovah's Witness Yep. They were leaving. First and foremost, we thought it was a bank. It wasn't a bank. This was totally the dumbest thing I could have done in my life.
Oh, this about to be good.
Well, we thinking it's a bank. It's actually a credit place. So when we get in there, I'm upset because it's a credit union. They don't even got money in the register. There's no vote. We have been misled by greed. So I'm not even gonna blame nobody. That was just pure greed.
Was this a team? You were by yourself and somebody advised you?
That part I can't speak on.
Good, thank you. So you think this is a bank and there's a vault, but it's really on a credit union and they just got limited funds in there. So there's some money in there.
Yeah, it's money in there, but it ain't nothing. It ain't.
And you walk in there and you got your firearm and a Jehovah's Witness.
No, they called us coming out. So we walked out like it was normal, like we were just leaving the place. And they knew what was going on from the start.
Somebody was with you, so you had help on this.
Allegedly.
Okay, gotcha. And how did I can't wait to get to the point where Jehovah's Witness shows up in this scenario.
So when we drove into this place, we didn't know that it was a flower store like right next to it. That should have just been the key sign to not do that. Like this.
Because there was a flower shop next to the credit union?
Yeah, because it was just like it was too many stores. It was just too open. Like it was sloppy. Kids don't do that.
Gotcha.
Please don't. Don't rob nobody. Don't. But so when we coming out, the Jehovah's Witness had noticed what was going on. So I think they went in behind us into the store and figured out what's going on. They had already wrote our license plates down from the start because we in a neighborhood, we in an all-white neighborhood too, at that. Allegedly, it was just, well, I was in an all-white neighborhood. Let me just say that.
Okay.
I can't speak on nobody. I can only speak on me.
Okay.
I was in an all-white neighborhood. They thinking, what are you doing here?
Oh, so you already standing out.
Yeah, and I got on a hoodie, a black hoodie. Yeah, I don't look like I look like I'm up to no good. So I couldn't even be mad that they profiled me because I was actually doing what they was profiling.
Wow. That right there. I hope y'all heard what he just said.
I can't be mad. I can't.
Is it profiling when you actually doing what they profiling for?
It's not.
Ooh.
It's actually truth saying.
That's a whole nother podcast for another day.
So, in the midst of, and they were there just to pick up flowers. That was it. They was just getting mass flowers. Like, I knew it, like, cause coming out, like I saw them and they was just staring. And I just knew it, like, yeah, they better tell on me.
You still had your weapon out?
No.
So they don't know that you actually had robbed the bank, but they know something going on.
They knew something was up. They knew.
Wow.
They knew.
So you in the car, you taking off?
Yeah. I mean, immediately leaving the place, police swarmed me.
5-0 was on you
Brother,
as you were leaving.
When
the
I
place.
say Kentucky response time to crime is good, oh, it's good. I ain't gonna lie to you. Anywhere else, somewhere else, I ain't gonna say what city, but it's about 20 minutes. It's a little slow. You got a little time. This went from 20 minutes to a minute.
Wow.
Oh, they were on the scene. So, in the midst of that, I'd make a wrong turn. Like I said, I was by myself. I can't put nobody else in this. I make a wrong turn on the highway. Instead of going north, I go south, deeper into Kentucky.
Oh.
It really ain't no black folk down there. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, so I'm like, nothing is looking familiar no more. So it's like, oh goodness.
Now you driving fast, you hauling, they chasing you?
What? Yeah, I wasn't driving that fast at first. But I kept feeling like somebody was following me. Tell me why the Jehovah's Witness followed us on the highway until the police got to us.
No.
Yep. Next thing I know, state troopers, and they come out with guns drawn, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm in
Kentucky.
I'm in Klansland.
Kentucky.
I'm gonna just call it like I see it. I was in Klansland. They come out with big guns. I'm thinking, you know what? I can't fight that. Let me go ahead and drop up out of here.
Okay.
So take them on a high-speed chase.
So you took off. You hit the gas.
Yeah.
You going how fast?
Too fast.
You driving too fast. And Kentucky and state troopers was in hot pursuit.
Got past 3 spike strips.
You evaded them.
It was like a movie.
Three spike strips.
3.
Oh, I got my popcorn. I'm eating my popcorn. I got it on mute, so you can't hear my popcorn. Yeah.
After the 3rd spike strip, they get a little angry. They frustrated. So we going past a semi. Now we all know semis have radios.
Yes. And the radios are hard to outrun. You can outrun the truck. Maybe you can outrun the cop. But
you ain't
radio,
gonna outrun no semi that works for that's what they do. So in the midst of us trying to pass the semi, he cut us off.
Oh no.
So once he fishtailed us a little bit, we go out into the gravel, come back in and flip under the semi 6 times. I shouldn't be here again.
Did you have your seatbelt on?
No.
Come on, man. Come on, you ain't have no seatbelt on.
No.
You flip, end up under the semi, and you walk away.
Yeah. I'm not lying to you. Like this was on the news too. Like.
So, in addition to what he experienced after he was shot, this is prior to all of that. Where this brother, you talking about using up your grace? When the scripture says God has given angels charge over you, unless you dash your foot against a stone, he done dash his foot against stones, rocks, anvils, bowling balls. Like he using up all this. It ain't hardly no more left in the tank as far as his grace, and his guardian angel is exhausted. You understand?
Man.
So here you go. They got you. You up under a semi-truck.
So I'm about to tell you another bizarre thing. I didn't pass out under the flipping. Like, I blacked out. I remember hitting the dashboard and going completely black, but I remember hitting the steering wheel and waking back up. So after the last flip, the tire got kicked off to the gravel. I hop out the car and I run.
So you running?
Yeah. Don't laugh, man. Don't laugh.
No, the only reason this is funny is because how is this possible?
I don't know.
Is this dude Gumby? What is the matter with this dude? Are you Wolverine? This dude gets broke up, flipped up, upside down under a tractor trailer, and his next event is he takes off running.
So I'm running with a busted nose cavity. So this up here is split where I hit the dashboard, so I'm bleeding out my nose. So I'm thinking I'm doing the most. I don't know where I'm going. The thing is, I'm on the highway.
You
we crashed
running
in Kentucky.
In Kentucky.
I'm about to end up on Billy Bob's plate in the backyard somewhere. You hear me? I'm not gonna lie to you. So I run to the woods. I don't know why I do that. My legs is strong at first. I'm hopping over the fences.
I'm being reminded of that scene from Pulp Fiction when they start fighting and roll into the pawn shop. Go get the gimp. Okay, so you running in Kentucky.
Listen, so I'm running, and I just collapsed. Like the trauma from the car wreck finally caught up, and I just fall down. And when I say these cops was racist and terrible, they was terrible, man. Kicked my face all in the mud. Then they had this big dog. I don't know if you know the breed, but it's called a King Shepherd. It's not a regular German Shepherd,
okay,
at all. It make like a German Shepherd look like a full one, make it like a puppy. They said, let that boy up so if you run again. I said, no, sir.
Wow.
You ain't got me, no. Don't put me in that car. I'm ready to go do the time. I ain't got to run no more. I see that. I can't outrun that. I couldn't outrun y'all.
Right.
You think I'm going to outrun that?
King Shepherd. I got to Google that.
So, I'm go in the car, you know what I mean, go through the initial lockup. So, you got to go through county first.
So, are you injured? They not taking you to the hospital, taking your injuries?
Yeah, they took me to the hospital, but them white white folks wasn't trying to let us get seen. Like they got us. We got infirmary where he going. You know where they put me at? The drunk tank.
The drunk tank.
So mind you, they give them medicine because I got an open sinus cavity. They said his next couple weeks he's about to be sensitive to light and sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're not familiar with the prison system, but the drunk tank is everything but peace and quiet.
Okay. So when you needed peace and quiet and low light, you get noise, turmoil, and bright lights.
And ants.
And ants. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And stale bread.
Oh, the plot thickens.
Yeah. So in there, I just was like, you know what? I made a plan to myself. I'm gonna stick to myself because everybody think they know about prison until you get there. You always gotta assume like, all right, well this is going on, that's going on. Like, well I should get me this because I gotta protect myself. I ain't gonna do this because that. But then when you get in it, you start seeing it like, okay, it's got its own government. It's its own government. Prison, when they say prison laws in effect, like it's certain things you can't do. It's a respect thing there. Like you gotta be willing to take your respect and earn your respect. You know what I mean? For me, I kept quiet to myself a lot, so I really didn't get into a lot. Plus, people just be naturally like drawn to me, like bro. Especially at that time, we was in the county, we was on the news, so everybody thought it was funny. Like so, it was kind of like, bro, we saw you on the news yesterday. Like I'm like, all right, bro. Like you know what I mean? It was more or less just still upset. So I was angry. So in my mind is, if somebody try me in here, I'm gonna spend all this time that judge gave me, and I'm gonna take it out on them.
So you going into the big house for the first time, and for me, I'm having flashbacks of Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
And getting off the bus, everybody whistling, phew, he mine, I want that one, I got first dibs, and everybody making all that noise.
But see how they do it in there, it wasn't that. But see, that's what people would think. People be whistling. Yeah, you got lines of people watching, but they ain't whistling. They trying to see. They trying to see how you move, like, cause you around a bunch of predators, so they gonna sniff out any type of weakness, like all that tough act. They want the ones that's real loud first. The ones that act super tough. That's the ones that get the hardest beating.
Really?
Because you gonna have to prove it every day.
From the other inmates?
Yeah, you gonna have to prove it. You have to prove you tough, especially you ain't nobody dealing with that. Then you got other stuff that goes on. You got drugs that go on. You got all that weird activity. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay away from that. You gotta know when to go to the shower, when to go to the library. You need to hurry up and eat, because at this time these people come in and they be on that, so it's a whole different ball game.
Now, how are you learning these things, these rules? Who's teaching you?
Watching.
Just from observing?
Observing. And then I was blessed to always get in touch with some good dudes, man, some good guys, some guys that just made bad choices, but they was businessmen. They had this going. And they working on themselves. They was in there. I was seeing guys that was heavy in their faith. Like, was this guy named E. Man, when I say this guy, he was down for 20 years. Brother's devoted Christian. When I could say one brother that I seen, and I believe him. Like, you know, most people when they in jail, they call them Bible thumpers. They just want to, you know what I mean? If you let me out, I'll change my ways. He was not like that. He was heavy in the church, like, and I'm pretty sure, like, once he get home, he gonna be heavy in the church, because that's his calling. Like, you know what I mean? When he preached the word in there, he was really preaching it. So just being around positivity, and that's hard to find in a haystack like that, because you got all type of predators. You gotta make sure that you ain't on the market at all times. I don't care who
the
you
market.
Yeah, like up for grabs, like saying like, oh, not just no sexual stuff, like, oh, people bully people, like friendly store people, like, oh man, you know, dude, he'll probably send his friend at you, right? Somebody that's tough, and he keep on, you know what I mean, somebody weak, he bullying on her, he'll step in like, man, you know, if you pay me a week, I'll keep every week, I'll keep them off for you. Oh, when I say up for market, it ain't all sexual in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because in there, it's so much of the willingly gay stuff. They don't have to do that stuff no more because people are willingly doing that stuff. I kept myself over here. You know what I mean? I'm coming in the way. I'm leaving how I came in straight. You understand me? I don't know about all that other stuff.
So you're saying, there's not a whole, there's not this whole atmosphere where people rape you and force you, because there's plenty of people doing it willingly.
Willingly.
Wow.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. And
Wow.
the people you don't expect, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why when I was saying you gotta know when to go to church services, you gotta, especially in there, because they be defiling everything. And then you got certain guards that might let something happen to you on your shift, so you know, like, all right, I don't like that guard, so he down at the weight pals. Let me not go while he on his shift. I'm gonna skip the yard because I might get into it with. It's easy to get into it with people. You got a bunch of people in there upset.
And you trying to keep clear from any unnecessary encounters.
Yeah. If I don't have to, then I ain't going to. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I don't have to fight, I ain't going to fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm sticking to myself. I'm in there reading. I'm trying to figure out the business side of music because I like music. I'm trying to work on my drawing. I'm just trying to become a better son, a better man. Everything I can be, and all that stuff that's going on in prison ain't gonna help me be a better man on the streets. It's gonna help me be a dummy to keep coming back.
So I like this, what you're disclosing right now is that while you're in this position and you're admitting that you did some dumb stuff in order to get in there, and while you're there, your mind is now focused on the future.
Yeah.
What's next? See, what's coming next? What's after this? I'm reminded of this, there will be glory after this. And this is about somebody having a made-up mind to where you take full responsibility for where you are in life, and you also take the same responsibility for becoming somebody different.
Yeah.
And you're saying that's what motivated you through those, what you say, 10 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was just because I wanted something better than that. You know what I mean? I didn't give myself a chance. So I know in there, like, man, it's about to be difficult. Like, you need to prepare for what's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna have people thinking all type of stuff about you. You did 10 years. People only think with their mind because they weak minded, like, oh, he had to be this, because no. Like, I learned how to control stuff in there. I like, when my money was low and I couldn't eat, I had to learn how to go deal with my stomach pains. I had to teach my mind that it was stronger than my stomach. That's stuff that a normal human don't have to think about.
What do you mean going without eating in prison? You get 3 meals a day.
Man, listen, if you go on lockdown, or if it's something you don't eat.
Oh, so lockdown like solitary because you did something wrong?
Nah. Just even when, like, say if they short staff, or just they felt like locking the yard down, they will. Or if a fight going, man, listen, if you ain't got money and all you got is those 3 meals.
So they provide 3 meals at certain times of the day, and if you miss one of those meals
It's
for
over.
whatever,
So
you just done missed it.
they give you a sack lunch if you want that.
And don't tell me what that is.
Yeah, it could be a bologna sandwich. It could be a pepper jack sandwich that ain't pepper jack. I mean, it's pepper loaf, I should say. It's terrible. Okay, everything in there terrible.
So who's sending you money while you're in there?
My mother, my father, my brothers. I had a good support system too. I don't have friends. I call them brothers. So when I say brothers, that just include my close friends. I don't have two friends betray you. Your family, stick by you a little more.
So people were stepping up for you, being there when you needed them the most.
Yeah.
Tell me about, in the 10 years or however long was the exact time that you were locked up, tell me about your worst day in lockup.
My worst day was learning that my dad was sick. That crushed me because I knew he wasn't being totally honest with me of his condition. My dad was dying for almost let's say he got sick my 4th year in there. Like he got sick, around my 4th year. Then oh my bad, that's a hard memory, thinking about my dad getting sick. So I found that out, and in prison it was just kind of
No, you ain't got no apologies here. Go ahead.
it was like, dang man, if I lose my pops, like you dumb, like you spent all this time away from your family, you know what I mean?
How did you find out he was sick?
He finally told me. Like he sent this, they called JPEG videos. So he sent me a JPEG. It was just, I saw it. I saw how sick he was.
So was he actually in the hospital at this time when he notified you? Or was he homesick and getting ready to go to the hospital?
He was homesick, getting ready to go to the hospital.
Okay. And
that's when my dad had, he was on dialysis and he had congestive heart failure.
Wow. And you in lockup.
Yeah.
And he was there for you when you were...
Man, he been there my whole life. Even when I was upset at him and didn't see eye to eye, he was still there.
Wow.
He always knew what was going on with me.
And now you can't be there for him.
And I was like, that crushed me, you know what I'm saying? And then, when he actually died, he died while I was in jail too. On the way coming home, yeah. And they just had to
passed while you were in jail.
Man, they had to bring him back to life. He died like 3 times that day. They said they had to keep on doing it. And they didn't even tell me, which I'm not mad at my family because I know how close me and my dad is. And they know my attitude, like when it comes to like stuff like that. They didn't want me to be in there fighting and all that because I lost 2 brothers while I was locked up too. And hearing about that sent me over the edge, put me in lockup because I
You lost 2 of your brothers while you were locked up?
Yeah.
How did they die? Street violence?
No, actually, natural causes, if you want to say that.
Okay.
My youngest one brother, he died of bone cancer. That's Stefan. Like he was only 23.
That's awful.
Yeah, that was the homie. You know what I mean? My little bro. You know. And then my other brother, he died in his sleep. Brandon Richardson. That was my heart, man. That's not my biological brother, but that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? And that hurt deep.
So this is just really, this is outstanding for me, just an example of how the choices that we make doesn't just affect us.
Affects everybody.
Yeah, there's other people connected to you, the people that you love, and every choice that you make. See, when the Bible says, choose this day whom you will serve, it's like, it sounds like that's just real simple. Do I want to serve God or I want to serve myself?
Yeah.
But every choice that you make has consequences, repercussions, just tentacles. Your grandmother chose God from all of those years, and now she's able to share the gospel with you and get you in church, right? And so now your choice, doing what you did, you locked up, and some of the people that you love the most
start leaving.
They out of here, and you can't even be there for them.
Yeah, when you finally do come home from doing all that time, it's just like you feel like an alien to the world. Like nothing is the same. Everybody that you once knew is different people because they've been through a whole cycle of life without you. You come home, you see pictures and family events of years, but you're not in it. And they smiling, and in your mind, you're thinking like, damn, they was happy, I wasn't. But they didn't put you there, buddy. You put you there.
And you just missed out.
That was you.
Wow.
Can't be mad at nobody but yourself. And that's one thing I learned in prison was accountability. And patience. Because you gotta wait on everything. Gotta wait. You know how many times I'm trying to get stuff back in court, get time, all that stuff, it just teach you patience. Because in there, it's to break you. It's not to rehabilitation, it's to break you. Like, I don't care what they say. If it was to rehabilitate a person, they would have programs and stuff set up for felons when they come out.
Okay.
They don't. Like, they tell you to get some mental health services, but they don't even help you for real. They just think you're trying to get a check. They don't know a person really trying to, like, man, do you know what I just seen in there where I was at? Like, I am not normal. Like I just seen some stuff in there, my guy. When I say some stuff, I done seen some stuff. You feel me? Like, stuff that I don't want to never see again. Like, smell those smells because a long time coming home. Like I used to wake up back in jail.
Wow.
Didn't even know if I was home, and my mind was so warped in jail. I didn't know the reality of me being free. It took me 2 years. Here, I've only been home for 3, going on 4. Still don't feel real. Still feel like at any moment I'm waking back up out of this dream and back into that nightmare. And that's an everyday thing. It's difficult, and it's like people don't realize the stuff that I've been faced against. You know what I mean? They just see you like carrying on, like, oh yeah, he's strong, he'll be okay. Are you sure?
So you saying you can come out of there not okay?
Yeah, like
Big time, not okay.
big time.
So we talking possibly, it's possible PTSD coming out of prison for all of those years.
Yeah, and then I got locked up during COVID.
Oh boy, everything changed.
Oh,
everywhere during
it was
COVID.
definitely different. But in prison it's even scarier. Because now you got these people coming in that's going to these people is getting infected. I had an inmate die in the same room in an open dorm. He died, had a brain aneurysm. Don't know what caused it, but you know what them people did? They let that man die because they was worried about putting handcuffs on him instead of getting him to the medics.
Because they worried about COVID.
No, putting his handcuffs on him. I know I jumped over because I deal with COVID, but I had somebody die in the camp I was at. And
I see. So you're saying because they were trying to get handcuffs on him, as opposed to giving him medical attention.
Yeah, they just let him die, like slammed the man's head, and then the story on COVID. This guy he kept telling them people like, "Hey, I don't feel good. They were like, man, just come back, put in the sick call, come back tomorrow." He said, "Bro, ain't no coming back tomorrow. I'm gonna die if y'all don't see me now."
You heard him say this?
No, he's next to the walk. I heard him telling them he need to be, you know what I mean, he need to be seen.
Gotcha.
And one of his partners was on my walk too, so he was concerned about his friends. So he like, man, he keep telling them like, bro, if they don't see him, he gonna die. He don't look right. So he worried. Next day he did. He died.
He died the next day.
COVID-related death.
Wow.
That's what they say, at least. You don't know what's going on in there, man. I ain't about to put no fast stuff, but people die in there all the time. All the time.
So you feel like when you got out, you didn't receive the help that you needed?
Not for real. No, I didn't. I had support of my mom, my dad, and a few real strong, close loved ones. Like, those people know who they are. Some people did things out of pity or because a lot of guys that did some things behind my back while I was in jail, so a lot of people was trying to do stuff to keep me off of them too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
During a lot of time, people do things behind your back. When you gone, you gone. Like when you ain't in the picture, that's how they treat it. Oh, you ain't here, you don't care.
And nothing you can do about it.
Nothing. And they tell you that in there too. Like, man, you better forget that word out there.
Wow.
That ain't your world no more.
So speak to the young brothers out here that's on the street. Let's just say as young as 14. They out on the street, they gang banging, thrill seeking, gun toting, violent. They just 2 steps away from being locked up. But many of them think that being locked up or spending some time in prison is a badge of honor. Like it's something you make you more of a real dude, street, right? From your experience, what would you say to those young brothers?
I tell them, look, when they hearing those stories from them guys, like, listen closely. Cause it ain't people glorifying it. It's they happy they made it through hell. Like, a lot of people don't make it through prison, man. People get broke. Like, I done seen guys eat their own poop because he couldn't take it. I done been in the psych part of it. I mean, I didn't went crazy, had to go get, you know what I mean, being in the hole for too long.
Really?
It does that to you, like, you know what I mean? And so when I tell them young guys, like, don't make a 1 second decision don't let a 1 second decision cost you your life. Because that 1 second you didn't think to not do that thing that you wasn't supposed to do, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna change your life. 1 second can give you a lifetime of pain. So take that 1 second that you was about to do that and jump on it and think about it. Think about what you're doing. You got to, like,
think about the consequences.
Think about the consequences, and they're not just for you. You might be willing to accept those consequences, and then once you think about the consequences, things gonna put it through for your family. Especially because everybody got somebody to care about. I believe so. You know what I mean?
Did your mother ever tell you how you being incarcerated made her feel?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, that was a real pain to experience. Like, I had to see it in her face, walking in the courtroom, shackled up like an animal.
You could see it on her.
I saw it.
She didn't have to say anything.
She had to say nothing. She was just crying. I ain't just crying, just silently crying. It's just like it was eating her inside. And you know who did it? Them white folks ain't do it. Her son did it. Her son made her son do that. You know what I mean? They didn't do that. That's just the outcome of what I did. So when you play in those fields, you gotta take those consequences. So many times these young guys jump in the streets and they ain't willing to take everything that come with it. Because this lifestyle brings so much and you don't want it. For real.
Sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
For real.
And they think one thing about what's gonna happen if I go steal this car, go rob this bank, or go rob this person.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, what you're saying is the consequences can be beyond anything that you got any idea about.
Oh yeah. You could put yourself in a situation where you don't even know how you're gonna make it. Just because of why? To the image. You know what I mean? I'm not talking down on the guys that had to be in the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. Some of us come up from less fortunate ways where we don't get the same opportunities. That's not an excuse. You know, we all got a choice.
But it's a reason.
But it's a reason. Like, some of these guys just doing it to be cool. Like, if you hustling and you got a whole support system, what you hustling for?
And many of us, we talked about the absent father situation, like mine. Many of us get drawn out to the gang situation because of peer pressure, but also because of a sense of belonging.
I know all about that too. I've been there. I've been down that road too. That sense of brotherhood, that sense of belonging. I don't want to disclose all that, but that was a part of my life.
It's your family.
You know what I'm saying? That's just being real. So I understand, like, both sides of the aspects, the negative and the positive. You know what I mean? As I can see the positive of a brotherhood, of building up each other, having a support system, but the negative is in that we doing something totally illegal at times. If we could take this same aspect and bring it over here, we wouldn't have no problem. But it's hard to transition from one stage to another sometimes, because everybody don't transition with you sometimes. So these might be your guys, your bros, this the guys, you know what I mean? But every one of your guys ain't on elevating. Some of these guys like staying like this. Like, this is where I'm at. Like,
they like that lifestyle.
And you gotta learn how to decipher for you. Like, is this what you want? Is this all you gonna get? Because you know what the outcome is. Yeah, you got few get successful out the streets, but very few. It's like winning the lottery.
Wow.
So it's up to you at the end of the day. And it's like, a lot of times it's harder to do the right thing. It's a lot easier to do the wrong thing. A lot easier. Especially coming in. I'm pretty sure you come from the urban area where you done seen stuff yourself. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us see stuff every day just by being around stuff or knowing somebody. And I'm pretty sure you didn't preach to some troubled kids or some troubled people, then you'd be like, man, I didn't know you was living like that. You never know what a person go through, and I feel like we so quick to place judgment and blame on somebody. You know what I mean? Or just judgment, period. Like, you know what I mean? We gotta stop doing that and start taking in the consideration of the person's situation or their circumstances, and not trying to think a person just trying to make it as an excuse. Maybe that's all that person know. Instead of like saying that's all an excuse, give that person a different way. Now, if he chooses not to take that different way, then okay, then yeah, he's being stuck. Then your judgment can be passed on correctly. But if you never gave that man another way or that person another way to do anything, how can you expect them to change? You know what I mean? So it's been a lot, man. Just dealing with everything's been a lot, man.
How did your siblings, because you talked about how much you love your siblings, how did your siblings respond to you being incarcerated?
They was upset. I know they was upset.
Did you have a talk with them afterward or during?
During and afterwards. They was upset, but they loved me. It was just like they was hurt. It's just like sometimes you on the phone, all you hear is how you hurt people. It got to the point I stopped using the phone for a second. I just stopped. I ain't denied my visits, all that stuff for 60 days. I was only talking to my mom and my dad. That was it. I ain't want to talk to nobody else.
This is too painful.
Too painful because I know I caused it. Like, how can I make that better? Like, I got people that's dependent on me like that. They feel like, bro, you left me out here. Like,
really?
And at the time, I'm trying to tell them, like, well, I felt like y'all left me where I was at. You know what I mean? I was drowning in troubles. Like, can nobody see that, what I was going through?
While you was out there in the streets,
on the streets. Like, ain't nobody see that. Like, it felt like I couldn't come to nobody. So now y'all trying to me, I was getting confused. Like, now y'all telling me how important I am. Why I couldn't tell me that then?
Now, this is really good. I do not want to move past this moment. When we're talking about powerful living, and I always talk to my followers about how to make your faith show up in your life, how to be genuine and authentic and have a real faith in Jesus Christ. And we always talk about it's how you show up for people. Now, this man just told you not to make an excuse and say, I did these things because nobody was checking on me. But what he's saying is, I needed somebody to check on me, and nobody did. And maybe he didn't even know what he didn't know. But what would have happened had somebody who's saying while he locked up, man, we miss you, we love you, blah, blah, blah. If somebody had to said that to me at the time, it might have changed my whole mode of operation, because people sometimes don't know their value until you let them know about it. It's called being a stand for other people. It's called calling people into their purpose, where you can pull somebody aside in your family or even as a friend, a coworker, and you know they got a bad attitude about life and they're going the wrong direction, and you take the time and take a chance and call them into something greater. That's powerful living. That's being a stand for somebody else. Sometimes you need to call people out of darkness. Because he says the harvest is plentiful, but what is few? The laborers. He said the laborers are few. The harvest is white, man. Look at the fields. He said, look over at those fields. Look, all that harvest is ready. People are ready and willing to come into the kingdom of God. But it's sometimes because we, as a people of God, aren't being his hands and feet the way we should be.
Putting in the work.
We're not putting in the work the way we should be. One thing you can say a lot about the Jehovah's Witness, and this brother got some experience with Jehovah's Witness.
He put in the work.
But them brothers put in the work.
Oh yeah, they do.
They door-to-door witnessing in. They counting, this is where we went, and they writing down the address, and listen, they out in them streets, and you sit down, you at that drive-through, or you at the stoplight, and you see them over there with their little tent sign sitting on the sidewalk, the 1 and the 2, they out there too, and you just try to look straight ahead, because you don't want them to... You ready for that light to hurry up and turn green because you don't want to look at them. You know what they out there doing. They trying to show up for people, and you can believe or disbelieve what they believe, but what you can't disagree with is that them fellas are out there doing that work. And that's what believers in Jesus Christ should be doing. showing up for people. Because just like my man Mays here is saying, it matters.
You do. I always tell somebody that you love them, you care about them, and just hear them out. And not just trying to hear their problem and try to fix it, just hear them out. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just want you to hear them because they don't feel like they have a voice. At one point in time, I started acting out because I felt like I didn't have a voice. I was always a quiet, soft-spoken person. So I felt like I got attention more when I acted out, when I did certain things. You know what I mean? That's when I started getting, now you getting respect. Like at first it felt like I wasn't getting the respect. I was just invisible. That's how I felt for a while.
You felt invisible.
Invisible, you know what I mean? Like people was just like, all right, or just he'll get over it. He'll be fine. He good. Like that's when it come to me like, yeah, he's strong, dude. He all right. Like even to this day, like I tell people I get shot, they just look like, all right. They don't look like you sure? Like
you look like you all right.
See what I'm saying? And that's how they take
it. You see what we do? You see, that's what, Scripture says, man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. See, we always use that in the aspect of don't judge me, God knows my heart. Yeah, but just listen, there's more to that, and that's out of context. We're not going to deal with that, right? There's a whole other podcast. Lord have mercy. But it says, man looks on the outward appearance. Stop that. Stop that. I'm talking to the believers, the saints of God. You better check on somebody. Hey, how are you today? I ain't seen you at bowling lately. You good? Call somebody. Send somebody a text message. It could make all the difference. I'm telling you from my own experience, share this in other podcasts. Minister Flowers, been in the ministry for how long? I think I had been in ministry for like 20 years at that point. But bro, I was going through a divorce. 23 years of marriage, coming down like the Hindenburg, crashing and burning, and there was nothing I could do about it. And I'm sitting on the back porch with a .40 caliber pistol to my head. Saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. That's right. And about to put a hole in my head. And somebody called me. Somebody called me, Maze, and said, what's going to happen when all the guys that you mentor on Monday and Friday at the basketball ministry, what's going to happen to them when they find out Minister Flowers killed himself? See, that was my mentor calling me to a greater purpose. You are more than what's happening right now in this moment. There's more available for you. But I needed somebody to make that phone call while I'm sitting my stupid head self up on the back porch. I was under oppression. I was under attack of the enemy. It was weighing me down, y'all. And a phone call changed my life and might be the reason why I'm here today. Check on somebody.
Please do. And I want to add another thing. And then when people are checking on you, accept it sometimes. Know that it ain't always coming from a bad place, because that could have been my case too. I know my dad was always trying to reach out, and I just kept like, I got it, Dad. I got it. I didn't know how to help. So at times, you can block those. So I'm saying is, I'm pretty sure I could have blocked sometimes too. I'm not perfect, man. I'm not saying that that's just how I felt. When I'm speaking on feeling, it's not always the truth of how you feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just how you feel. You know what I mean? So I felt like those around me, my peers, those I was around day to day, they could have made a phone call and figured out what was going on too. Yeah. My dad made his point, like, man, hold on, something ain't right. What's going on over here? Like, you just need to come back with me. You know, kept lying to him, telling him I ain't got nothing going on, and then next thing you know, this happened.
So he was checking on you. You weren't allowing yourself to be checked on.
I blocked my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, there are consequences.
Yeah.
And when God set you down, it ain't to discipline you, it's to correct you sometimes. It feel like punishment though, because it's like, all right, time out. It might be a long time out, but it's correction. Like, because if you sit down and see why he slowed it down, you'll see like, oh man, I was heading here. He wasn't gonna be able to pull me back from this one. So he stopped me here before I even went any further. He's put me at a standstill point like, listen, you sure you wanna go down this road? This was gonna be for you. He allowed me to see that, experience that firsthand. Like, if this how you wanna live your life, this is one option for you. You know what the second one is. What you gonna do? And that's a hard decision. That's a choice that's a decision you gotta wake up with every day. Like, what can I do to make sure I'm being the best me?
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the best version of you. You did your crime, you served your time, you got a criminal background record that's gonna follow you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I know you're probably struggling to find a job because of those things.
Oh, it was tough.
This is something that we need to be having conversations about too, y'all. Somebody paid their debt to society by doing 10 years. They can't vote anymore. I get the firearm stuff. You can't be around a firearm. I get that kind of stuff. But you can't do this. You can't do that anymore. Nobody wants to hire them anymore. And we talk about the problems that we have with recidivism, where people get locked up, they get set free, and then they go right back in there within 6 months. Like, there's something going on with society where we need to help people to be restored.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about the kingdom of God, because it's different than how the kingdom of the world is. And when God forgives you for your sins, he says, I will remember them no more. But that is not how society is. And so this brother Mays, you got your life ahead of you. Naturally, you feel like you're healing, you still got some healing to do and everything, but it's like, now, what's next? What are some of the things that you need in order to become the best version of yourself from here on out? What's next for you?
To rebuild my self-confidence, you know what I mean? Because I felt like I've been my biggest doubter because I've been upset with myself for so long. And coming home out of prison, you angry. You don't know why you angry. You're just angry. You're just mad. Like, as you start seeing stuff that was around that no more, like my street that I grew up on don't even look like my street no more. I mean, the hospital took over my grandmother's house. Like, it don't even look like our street at all. Like, at all. So coming back, when you start to see stuff that's gone and the people that's gone, and you remember, like, dang, I can't call. Can't go kick it with such and such. It's like, man.
So you right now are talking about reconnecting with a sense of belonging again, whether it's people, having a relationship that's strong, that's pulling you up.
Yeah.
That's something that you're saying that you're needing.
Because people don't realize when coming from home, you suffering from identity crisis because you have to kill that person you are and to survive in there. For real. Like, you have to become a whole different person.
Wow. I hope y'all just heard that.
You have to kill you. You got to kill all that stuff. All that stuff that makes a human, like the right to breathe air, the water and all that. Forget all that. Got new rules you gotta learn now.
So it's becoming way more complicated now as an ex-felon, ex-prisoner.
Everything from the times that you get up, I still at 6 o'clock, at like 5 o'clock, I still get up sometimes because I can hear a bell. I'm waiting on the bell. It was like that. I was waiting on the bell to move. Sometimes I wouldn't even call people because I was like, I'm not used to not using a jail phone. It was weird. Like, I'm hanging up with people after, so I'm getting used to hearing that you have such and such time left on the phone. So when I'm not hearing that, I'm weirded out on the phone, and I'm weird around people because I'm thinking they thinking I'm weird because I done did time. You know what I'm saying? You know, the stigma that comes behind a person, a man that done 10 years, everything negative. When they can go on my jacket and see that I ain't did none of those stigmas that they profiling me on from being in jail. I might be a little institutionalized, yeah, but I spent time in an institution. What can you expect?
There's that.
You know what I'm saying? That's something I can say, but far as they trying to make you out of a monster, or they try to put a sexual preference on you because they feel like, oh, anybody doing that amount of time gonna do that. Are you crazy? I've been in there with people with lifers, and if they wouldn't dare think about doing the other stuff. Like, I've been in there with guys that learn how to not live with their flesh. You know what I mean? Because in there, if you can't control, if you ain't got a powerful this, you through. Your mind is everything. Your mind is the only thing you got in there, and your physical strength. So you better keep your mind as strong as your body. You know them guys that just work out and don't read or do nothing, they don't. They come back. You know what I mean? Because you ain't learned nothing else but prison. They make it to where you have to learn nothing but prison. Even the little schools and stuff they got in there, they make it hard for you to get in there. You can't just go sign up for school and you get in there right away. No.
So you're speaking to recidivism in that many people go back to prison because
that's all they know.
Once they get out, it's so different, and all they know is how to survive in prison, and so they go back.
And society
that's
treats
all
you
they
like
know.
you a nobody.
Society does what now? Y'all better hear this. Say that.
Treats
again.
you like you a nobody. You don't like, oh, you been in jail. Like, that's how they kind of look at you. Like,
you got F on your report card. Oh yeah. Okay. Don't call us. We'll call you.
See what I'm saying? Like, and once again, it's not their fault, but at the same time, y'all can do better than what y'all doing. Y'all so quick to give a person time, but y'all not doing the necessary thing to help them.
So, in wrapping this up with my man here, Maze, and y'all know, thank you for subscribing. Make sure you share this podcast with someone, because these young folks need to know what it's really like to be incarcerated. It's not what you think, and there are better ways, better choices you can make. And also, this brother Maze is on the other side of 10 years being locked up, and you're hearing the needs that he says he has. The need for belonging, for fellowship, for encouragement, for opportunity, right? For society to be able to recognize him as who he could be and not as who he was. And I want you to know, brother, I'm here for you. I believe in helping people. And everybody who's a part of our ministry is taught these things, because this is what I believe. And so I just want you to know that I'm going to do my part to help you as much as I can, to help you get from where you are to living your best life in Christ. Because I believe that that's the best way.
Respect it.
What would you want to share with my listeners in closing?
Just try to be better people, man. Overall, nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? Take your time and think things through, and don't be so quick to judge a person because of their past, man. Because that might not be who that person is now. That's just who they were at the time. You know what I mean? You don't know the circumstances. So before we judge, try to walk in a person's shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's called empathy and sympathy. Being able to see someone else through the eyes of Christ is a whole nother level as well. We teach these things more and more as you join us on this road to powerful living. For my man Maze, thank you for sharing your story with us. I think this won't be the last time that I have you on the podcast, brother.
Man, I appreciate it. This was a very, very peaceful space. I had fun, enjoyed myself, but I've got to talk to my story, and I feel like I can reach somebody that been through this, kind of like what I've been through. You know what I mean? Just want to let them know, like, through all, like, if you got faith, you can make it through anything. Just have your faith strong, man. Whatever you believe, but just know it's the Most High, it's the Creator. You know what I mean? So give your faith to the Creator.
It's good. Henry Flowers here with Maze, Powerful Living Outreach Ministries. Y'all know me. I ain't going nowhere. I'm coming back.